Hey guys, what's up? It's Emily. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. It is time for another reading wrap up, the second reading wrap up of the year. It is February, the end of February. This month went by so fast. I am still a book ahead for my reading goals for the year. My goal is to read 100 books. I did only read 7 books this month, which for me is on the lower side. I typically read 10 to 12, but I'm not mad about it. I think this year is about pacing myself. Just making sure I'm not plowing through just for the purpose of plowing through. I gave some books a try this month, so I'm excited to share with you what I read. But before we get into the reading wrap up, I quickly wanted to talk about this bag that I was sent by Cozy Island. I'm always looking for new bags to carry my books in that are neutral, that I could perhaps also fit a laptop in, and that can kind of double as a going to a coffee shop bag, a dinner date bag, and kind of a work tote. And I saw this bag and I was like, I have to have it. So I wanted to share that with you. So Cozy Island actually sent me the bag I was looking at, and they also sent me a pair of shoes because they're mainly known for being a shoe company. Cozy Island's whole thing is comfort without compromise. So they sell a lot of really, really amazing shoes at affordable prices, but you are paying for a quality shoe that's environmentally friendly. So it's not a fast fashion company. They are putting resources and labor into their shoes. So they're kind of comparable to a Zara price, I would say. I live in New York City. I'm always looking to be comfortable. Obviously, I take the train most places I go. I don't really take a car, so I'm walking to the train. I'm walking from Brooklyn to the train station, to the transfer train station, into Manhattan, it's just I'm walking all over the place. And I find that it's really hard to find a shoe that is comfortable for me, but also fashionable. And what I love about Cozy Island is that they have so many colors and styles of shoe that are so fashionable, chic, and comfortable. I find that I don't know, moving into this spring, I'm definitely finding this new kind of clean girl aesthetic, but with a little spunk to it. And I'm really looking for quality pieces that are neutral, can be mixed and matched with a lot of different outfits, and are comfortable and quality, and that'll have for a really long time. And when Cozy Island reached out to me, I had actually just broken my pair of black heels and I was in desperate need. I am looking for literally a Cozy Island for my feet. I'm looking for my feet to be comfortable. I'm looking for a full day spent in these shoes. So I was really excited when Cozy Island sent me these cute little black heels. These are their pointed toe heel Mules. I will definitely link them down below. It's very breathable, soft material as well. Your feet will get air, which is also really important. Just walking around the city, you want your feet to be able to breathe. It's wide feet friendly. It's not a super narrow shoe. It's flexible in terms of the stretchiness of the shoe. It's such soft cushioning, and it's super easy to style. I can dress this up. I can dress this down. This shoe, I feel goes with so many different things. And what I love about it is it's not super high. Done are the days for me where I'm shoving my feet into these super high heels. It's just not necessary. I love a good heel. I love a little height. I like the way heels shape my body, but I just don't think it's necessary to have 5-inch heels. Do you know what I mean? I am so happy with these shoes, and I'm really looking forward to wearing them as this winter ends and spring begins. I just think it's the perfect shoe. Again, they come in a lot of other different colors, some neutral, some more statement pieces. So if you're looking for new shoes, I would not sleep on these Cozy Island shoes. I also wanted to share this bag. Are you kidding? I am obsessed with this bag. As I mentioned, I am always looking for bags that I can carry my books in. I could carry my laptop in. I can carry my headphones in. These guys right here that kind of evenly distributes the weight. It doesn't look a ton of stuff is in the bag, and it still looks chic, but I can also kind of bring my whole life around with me. And this is such a perfect bag. And what I love about it is it's super unique. I've already gotten so many compliments on it. I love the shape of it and the cut of it. I love the material of it. It is again, a perfect winter into spring bag. I feel you can wear this with so many different outfits, so many different styles. It just kind of brings in that casual chic vibe. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. I feel this just elevates a simple outfit. A lot of times I run into the situation where I'll be reading a book and then I'll want to bring a book for my friend if I want to have a friend borrow a book and I just don't have room in my bag. So this definitely solves that problem. They do have a ton of other really cute bags. This specifically is the 2-piece set woven large handle bag, and it also comes with this pouch here. You could put like cosmetics in it, you know, if you want to make sure like your liquids aren't touching all of your other stuff in your bag. You can also put kind of like more sensitive stuff in here, like your wallet, passports, medications, etc. So it's nice to kind of have this pouch for like quick access for important things, because I do find that like when I have a larger bag like this and I'm looking for like my keys or something, it's a little hard. So it's nice that it comes with this pouch so that I can find maybe smaller stuff or stuff that I need to reach for more frequently a little bit easier. And the color I got in this is champagne. It also comes in this gray color and a black color. I really like this color. I think it's just the coolest. And you could also wear this in the summer. It could like be a beach bag even. So I just think it's like so versatile. So you can get 10% off today with my code YT10 Emily. I'll leave the links down below with that code again in the description so you could check it out and see for yourself just how comfortable these shoes are and how fabulous their bags are. Let me know if you have any questions about anything or if you need any recommendations in the comments below. Now, without further ado, let's get into the books that are in the bag, shall we? Okay, so the first book I read was Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. This book has been on my radar for a very, very long time. I've always been, as we are, like drawn to the cover of this book. Anyway, I finally got around to reading it. I really had no idea what the book was actually about going into it. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It goes back and forth between this younger Black woman in her 20s, early 20s, who babysits for this white family. The book opens when our main character is out with her friends at a birthday party. She's maybe like 2 or 3 drinks in. She's having a good time. She's like dressed for a night out, and she gets this call from the family that she works with, the mother, and she's like, can you please come here and like pick up, I forget what the child's name is, but the little girl that she babysits, and just like take her to the grocery store because we had to call the police for whatever reason, and like they're gonna show up, and I just don't want her to like be exposed to this scene. The babysitter's like, sure, like I can, but just like heads up, like, you know, was not planning on this, like I am a few drinks in and I'm like at a party, and like the mom's like, absolutely no problem, like come as you are, please, just this would really be like a solid for me, basically. So she does. She picks up the little girl, she goes to the grocery store, and then this other white woman accuses her of like kidnapping the child, and then like the security gets involved, and it's just like a whole thing, and then the dad has to come and be like, that yes, that is my babysitter. So it's this whole like racially charged incident from the top of the book, and then it goes back and forth between the babysitter, sorry, I'm forgetting like the characters' names, but the babysitter and the mother of the family. It goes back and forth between those two characters, and there's like a boy that's involved, this boy that kind of like sees the whole thing go down in the grocery store, who is a white man. He's kind of like, I got this on video, like do you want me to use it for you? And like the girl's like, no, like I really just want to like forget about this whole thing. And then they kind of like strike up a friendship. Then you see that like these two women are like kind of connected in some way. If you're like an audiobook person, this was a great audiobook to listen to. The narrator was fantastic, and yeah, as I said, I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a really good book, and it definitely prompted like a lot of different questions and made me think about a lot of different things. Highly recommend it. Okay, next I finally read this, Sharp Objects. I'm kind of interested to watch the show just because I like the actors in it. This is the same author as Gone Girl. I said girl on the train in my vlog. I was corrected. I stand corrected. I'm sorry. I get them confused. It's just like a lot of, like, there's Girl on the Train, there's Gone Girl, there's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's just like there's a lot of girls doing a lot of, the girls are out there doing things, okay? And it's just a little hard to keep track of sometimes. This was not my favorite book. The back of it sounded really compelling to me. It's about this young woman who is a journalist, and she has kind of like escaped her home in Mississippi. Not escaped, but she lives in Chicago now. She's a journalist, and there has been a murder and like a disappearance in her hometown, and her boss basically assigns her back to her hometown to cover and investigate this murder and this disappearance. She has this like half sister that she barely knows, who's a lot younger than her. She visits her mother, who is like totally neurotic. But there are a lot of demons that she kind of has to like grapple with, I would say. I appreciate what this book was trying to do. There are elements of it that I'm like, oh, these are the elements of a book that like I'd be really interested in, but like the way it was written was just so not compelling to me. The devices were kind of all there, but the way they were used just like didn't work for me. I think I gave this 2 stars. Yeah, I gave this 2 stars. I would not, I'm sorry, I always hate doing this. I feel really bad. I just like, I would not recommend this book. Like I just really, really did not enjoy it. I just really, really did not enjoy it. I'm very sorry. But if you want to try it for yourself and let me know what you think, or if you've read it before, let me know. Okay, next. Another reason why I only read 7 books this month is because I read, again, like some kind of longer books. One being The Onyx Storm. I read this book. I was into it. I understood some of it. I gave it 3 stars. I do feel like I know these characters. For those of you who don't know, which I'm sure most of you do, this is the 3rd book of the like 4th Wing series. I thought it was a trilogy, but apparently it is not, because it is not set up for any ending anytime soon. So it's just the 3rd book of the series, I would say. I will say, like, I feel like I really know these characters very well at this point. There's like a familiarity that's not like entirely dissimilar to like the Harry Potter characters that I feel. It's not quite that level, but it's like I do feel like I know and understand these characters in a way that is very like deep, I guess, ish. I didn't think it needed to be this long. Like, it felt like the whole book I was waiting for something to happen. I really like fantasy books that are like, okay, we're rising action slowly, like we're building towards something and we get there. It felt like we were like rising and then we were like done, and then we were rising and then we were done, rising, done, and then like at the end it was like kind of a thing. It was very confusing. Like, I felt broken when I was reading it, and then when I finished it I went to Reddit and people were like, the ending of this was so confusing, like what happened? So I felt like I perhaps was not broken. So that was nice. Like, I felt very validated by Reddit, which is often how I feel when I go to Reddit. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but that is what happens to me typically. I think you go to Reddit to look for validation. So you're not going to find Reddit threads that don't validate you, basically. But anyway, I did find that this felt like more of like a first draft. Like, I really love the world. I love the story. I love the concept of everything. And I love the dragons. I do love all of the pieces of this world. I just thought that like it like assumed almost that like we knew certain things that like the author knew that like we just didn't. If this could have just been revised for like maybe another year, it would have been maybe like a 4.5 star read for me, but it just felt a little like, I don't know, like it just needed like a little bit of work. I won't say too much about what it's about because it is the 3rd book of a series and I don't want to give any spoilers. If you haven't read the 4th Wing series and you haven't read any fantasy, I would not start with the 4th Wing series. I would start more with like A Court of Thorns and Roses or Throne of Glass, perhaps. Even like Once Upon a Broken Heart, like that trilogy, very light fantasy to start out with. This is just very world building, very heavy on the world building. If you are a fantasy person and you haven't read this yet, give it a try. A lot of people are obsessed with it. I mean, I think this book was like the like highest selling adult novel in like 20 years or something. So there obviously is like an appeal, like people really connect with this book. Definitely don't sleep on it. I just personally don't feel this like fandom connection to this book that a lot of other people do. I feel like people either like hate the series or they're like obsessed with it, and I'm just like, this was good. Like, this was good. I enjoyed it. This specific book I think could have used a little work personally. Next, I read The Honeys, which I also read in my vlog. This was like such a unique book, very fast moving, fast paced. What I loved about it is I wasn't exactly sure what genre we were in until like the absolute very end. And I kind of love that. I love being in that space when I'm reading a book of like, what is real? What is not? Is this delusion? Is this magic? Is this gaslighting? Like what is happening? This is basically about our main character Mars, who has a twin sister who recently died. This twin sister goes to the summer camp every summer, and instead of her going, because she's dead, Mars decides to go in her place. Now, Mars doesn't really fit in at this camp. They used to go when they were younger, and it just didn't click. You'll find out more if you read the book. They have a feeling that something is amiss, and this group of girls who goes to the camp called the Honeys, Mars thinks that they have something to do with their sister's murder. So they're basically going to kind of like investigate that. This protagonist is non-binary, gender fluid. It's nice to read a book from that perspective right now because non-binary people are real, trans people are real, they exist, and I love reading books where they are the main characters. Definitely recommend this. It was like very, very symbolic. Like, there's a lot of symbolism. I love books with a lot of symbolism. You just want to know what is going on the whole time. Like, it's just a unique murder mystery, I guess. Yeah, I gave this 4 stars. It was great, and it's a quick read, so definitely give it a try. What I also love about this bag is like you can literally take the book out this way, like through the little slot. Anyway, next I have the third Kristen Hanna book that I've read called The Women. I think this is a lot of people's favorites. I read The Four Winds and I read The Nightingale. The Nightingale is my favorite so far. This one was also just amazing. This is about Frankie. The first half of the book, she enlists as a nurse in the Vietnam War. She comes from Southern California, from this very like conservative family, and she goes to the war. Obviously has a lot of traumatizing experiences over there. And then the second half of the book, she's home. It's kind of about how awful like people treated the women of the Vietnam War, I guess, when they returned. It definitely taught me a lot about the Vietnam War, like through her story that I had not known already. It's what I love about Kristen Hanna books, historical fiction in general. You kind of learn about history through story, which I think is a way that actually sticks rather than like reading it through a textbook. I think stories are powerful. Obviously, Frankie, I said this in my vlog, like definitely up there on dream roles. This character goes from A to Z. I'm obsessed with the arc. There are so many like versions of this character. We start with her. She's like this young woman who's like never had a drink, totally sheltered, and then she like goes to war and comes home, and it's just like, yeah, she goes places, we'll just say. I think I gave this a 4.5. I think if it honestly wasn't a Kristen Hanna book, I'd give it 5 stars, but my expectations for her are just like too high. So maybe I should give it 5 stars. I don't know. For me though, it wasn't quite a 5-star read, but it was like nearly there. So we'll say 4.5. Definitely recommend. Okay, next I read Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. This has been on my radar for so long. I feel like every time I go in a bookstore, it's like the Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. There's like 20 copies and the universe has been like, Emily, read this book. So I finally read the book. How do I describe this book? I don't know where to begin without like giving stuff away. I would say the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, was slow. Like there's a lot of different characters and you kind of like learn all about them and then they like come together. And when they come together, that's when it starts getting really interesting. I felt like the first half was kind of like all exposition, which was a little boring. Once we got into it, the story started getting very interesting. So it basically opens in the future in like the 70s. These workers discover this skeleton as they're kind of building this new like housing development. They find the skeleton. The whole story is kind of explaining like who this was and how this happened and why. It takes place in this immigrant community called Chicken Hill, I think. Yes, Chicken Hill, where immigrant Jewish people and Black Americans kind of live together and share ambitions and sorrows, as the back of the book says. It's kind of like a very epic, I guess, like murder mystery. Maybe epic is like a little bit of an intense word for what it is. If you read this book, I've read a lot of reviews that are like, this book is really hard to get into, and I definitely agree. If you stick with it, it gets interesting, it gets juicy, it gets compelling. It's a very like racially driven book. Like as you get into it, you see how the kind of white Christian community is negatively impacting the community of Chicken Hill. So it's kind of about that, and then it's about kind of this murder mystery as well. So you get both. I think like the best books kind of have this kind of overarching like sociological element where like we're exploring either like race or gender or class. And then we're also like in a really interesting and compelling story. And I do think this book has both of those elements in a very strong way, at least in the second half of the book. So if you read it, you're not super into it, just stick with it because it all kind of like comes together in a very satisfying way. And I gave it 4 stars. I read some pretty heavy books this month, which I think is why my count is a little low. It's like between The Women and like Onyx Storm and Heaven and Earth Grocery Store and my last book, Outlander. It's just like, it was a lot. Like it was a lot and I didn't want to rush through them. So Outlander. So this is a book series actually, but this is the first book in the series. It's also a pretty known TV series. It's about this woman. She's this English woman. She was a nurse in World War II, I believe. So it kind of opens, she's married. She has this husband named Frank. They're kind of just experiencing like the aftermath of the war. Like she didn't see him for like 6 years during the war, or she did like a few times, but it's been like, they've been apart for like a long time at the beginning of the book. And then she like stumbles across these like rocks or something and like gets transported into the 1700s in Scotland. A lot of people are obsessed with this book series. I just found it to be kind of boring. I'm so sorry. Like I think I might like it if it was a TV show, but the way this was written, I was like waiting for things to happen. It's supposed to be this like steamy romance and I don't know. I do think I would recommend reading it for sure because a lot of people love the series and this book. I'm not sure I'm going to continue reading the series, but I might give the TV show a try. I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't awful. I do understand the appeal, I think. I don't know. It's just like there was something about it that just didn't. I think I went in expecting to like absolutely love this book and there was just something that did not click for me. I was a little disappointed. So maybe if I wasn't expecting to love it, I wouldn't feel that way. It didn't hit for me, and I'm really sorry. Like, I feel like I'm disappointing a lot of people when I say that. Everyone's like, oh my God, like Outlander, like you have to read it. Like my friend actually like bought this book for me, and a lot of you in the comments have been like, Outlander, yes. But yeah, it just didn't hit. It didn't hit. Has anyone else had this experience with this book? Everyone that I say like, oh, I'm reading Outlander, they're like, oh my God. I'm like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Like, I feel like my brain needs to be rewired. But anyway, 3 stars. Those are the 7 books I read this month. It was a good reading month in some ways. I kind of challenged myself a little bit, so I think that's why I read less. But I think it's important to do that. And February is also a shorter month, so I probably would have read like 2-3 more books if I had a few more days. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this again. I will leave all of the Cozy Island info down below if you want to take a look. If you're looking to like invest in a few pairs of shoes or like a nice book bag for the spring. You can honestly wear these shoes like all year round. They're just really good staples for the wardrobe. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you want to see more of, less of, whatever. I hope you have an amazing week ahead, and I will see you in the next one.